what if him going quiet afterward doesn't mean he lost interest? What if the silence is exactly when you become louder in his mind? Most women think stopping the texts gives a man clarity. It doesn't. It gives him space, and space does something dangerous. It removes your words and leaves him alone with his thoughts. That's when he starts filling in the blanks. That's when imagination takes over. That's when your absence starts saying things your messages never could. Because when you stop texting him, he doesn't just notice the silence. He starts interpreting it. First, he wonders why the pattern broke. Not because men are always deeply emotionally aware. Most aren't, at least not at first. But they do notice shifts, fast. If you were warm, available, responsive, and then suddenly gone, his brain flags it. Something changed. And the change matters more than the original behavior. People get used to consistency. A text becomes normal. Your attention becomes expected. Your presence becomes part of his routine. So when it disappears, it creates friction in his mind. A gap. And the brain hates gaps. Now he's thinking, did I say something wrong? Did she get bored? Did she meet someone else? Is she upset? Is she pulling away on purpose? The moment the pattern breaks, curiosity begins. Second, he thinks about his last move. This is where replay starts. Men do this more than they admit. They go back through the last conversation, the last joke, the last delay, the last dry reply. He starts checking for the exact moment the energy changed. Not because he suddenly became a relationship philosopher, because he wants to know if he caused the shift. And here's what matters. If he likes you even a little, silence turns him inward. It forces self-review. He may not say it out loud. He may even act completely unaffected. But in his head, he's scanning. That one message he left unread for 6 hours. That lazy, ha-ha. That plan he never confirmed. That slightly arrogant tone. That moment he assumed you'd still be there. Now it all looks different. Silence has a way of making careless behavior feel expensive. Third, he starts wondering how replaceable he is. This is the one people miss. When you stop texting him, he doesn't only think about you. He thinks about the competition he cannot see. Your silence creates mystery, and mystery creates comparison. He starts realizing you have a life outside of him. Other options. Other conversations. Other men who might be more direct, more intentional, more available. Even confident men feel this. Especially confident men. Because confidence often depends on access, on momentum, on believing they still have your attention. Once that certainty disappears, ego gets involved. Now he's not just asking why you stopped. He's asking who has your focus now, and whether he ever had as much of it as he thought. Fourth, he tests whether the silence is real. This is where a lot of women get confused. Sometimes a man will suddenly like your story, send a random meme, react to something old, drop a casual "hey," not because he has suddenly transformed into a brave romantic, usually because he's testing the temperature. He wants to know if the door is still open. This is important. When a man reaches out after silence, The message is often less important than the response. He's not just talking, he's measuring your speed, your tone, your warmth, your availability. He wants data. Can I still access her? Did I really lose ground? Is she distant now or just busy? And if your energy is different, calmer, less eager, less immediate, that tells him something no speech ever could. It tells him the dynamic moved. That's when he starts taking you more seriously. Fifth, he thinks about what you were actually giving him. Attention is easy to underestimate when it's constant. A lot of men don't fully value a woman's presence while they still have unlimited access to it. Not because they're evil, because human nature is lazy. People often realize value at the moment of interruption. So when you stop texting him, he notices what disappeared. The dopamine hit of seeing your name, the comfort of knowing you'd respond, the ego boost of your attention, the softness you brought into his day, the emotional access he didn't earn but still enjoyed. And suddenly, what felt casual starts feeling significant. This is why silence can hit harder than confrontation. A confrontation gives him your energy. Silence takes it back. And when your energy is gone, he has to feel the shape of the space you used to fill. Sixth, he starts separating desire from convenience. This is where truth shows up. As long as you were texting him, he didn't have to decide much. The connection kept moving on its own. Low effort can still feel like progress when the other person keeps the rhythm alive. But when you stop, the autopilot ends. Now he has a real question in front of him. Do I actually want her? Or did I just enjoy being wanted by her? That question is brutal. Because a lot of connections survive on convenience, easy access, predictable attention, minimal risk. The moment you remove those things, intention gets exposed. A man who truly wants you starts feeling the loss and moving toward it. A man who only liked the comfort of your availability usually fades. That's not punishment. That's clarity. And that's why silence is powerful. It doesn't force a man to love you. It reveals whether there was anything real there to begin with. Seventh, and this is the deepest one, he starts feeling your emotional standards without you saying a word. This is the part almost nobody talks about. When you stop texting him, the biggest thing he may think is not, I miss her. It's, she's not going to keep chasing me. And that thought changes everything. Because now he's not just seeing your absence, he's seeing your boundaries. He's seeing that your attention is not endless, that your energy is not free, that if he wants access to you, he may actually have to show up with intention. That is incredibly attractive to the right man. Not because men enjoy games. They don't. High-value men don't want confusion. But they do respect emotional self-possession. They respect a woman who knows when to stop over-giving. A woman who doesn't beg for clarity. A woman who can let silence speak when words no longer work. That kind of silence feels different. It doesn't feel bitter. It feels dignified. And dignity is unforgettable. Now here's the insider truth most people get wrong. Silence only works when it's real. If you stop texting him while secretly monitoring every minute, hoping he panics, refreshing your phone, and building your self-worth around whether he comes back, he feels that energy eventually. Even from a distance. Neediness leaks. Forced detachment has a smell. But when you truly pull your energy back because you mean it, because your peace matters more than chasing mixed signals, because you are no longer willing to overextend for crumbs, something changes. Your silence stops being a tactic. It becomes a standard. And that is what lingers in his mind. Not just that you disappeared, but that you were capable of disappearing. Calmly, cleanly, without begging to be chosen. That's the part he remembers. Because most people keep talking long after they should have gone quiet. Most people keep explaining, proving, persuading, waiting. So when you don't, you become rare. And rare is powerful. So yes, after you stop texting him, he may think about the pattern break, the last thing he said, the attention he lost, the possibility of losing you to someone else, the question of whether he actually wants you, the fact that you may not be as available as he assumed. But above all, he thinks about what your silence means. And if your silence comes from self-respect, not manipulation, it says one thing very clearly. You do not chase what does not choose you. And once a man understands that about you, he can never fully unsee it.